So I'm getting ready to watch one of my favorite movies of all time, Cocktail with Tom Cruise, Brian Flanagan, and then there was Doug Coughlin, who became his partner. You know, they first started working in the bars together. He taught him the tricks of the trade, how to flip bottles, how to be a real entertainer, a real showman. And turns out he meets that beautiful girl. What is it? Elizabeth something Shue, I think, from the Karate Kid. And so she was the good-hearted girl, the one who believed in romance and love at first sight. And it's funny they met because one of her girls got physically sick drinking alcohol, and she was throwing up all over the place. That's a great way to pick up a girl, right? So anyway, they were getting it on, like let's get it on. Ah, yeah, let's get it on. Come on, sugar. Anyway, so they had their you know romantic whatever you want to call it, sexual beautiful romantic by the beach, pleasures, and she's falling in love with him, he's falling in love with her. But then the worst thing that could happen, the guy steps in. What's his name? His friend Doug. And he says, "Listen to me. You can't pick up a rich chick. You don't got it in you. Okay, you don't got it. So, of course, like when a guy dares you, you got to take the dare, right? Coughlin's law. We'll talk about that later. But he picks up the rich girl. She brings her back to Manhattan. He breaks the other girl's heart. You know, Elizabeth Shue, and little did he know she was the rich one. She's living on Park Avenue. Her parents are like billionaires, but she didn't want him to know that. She wanted him to think she's just a regular girl, just no money, a struggling artist. And what happened was Tom Cruise was miserable with this rich woman. She was waking him up every day early, doing aerobics exercises. She treated him like he was a pet, like she would bring him to all the rich parties. And that's what one of his boss lady's friends said. She says, "Oh, is this the new pet boy? This is the new toy boy." And Tom Cruise lays the guy out. He embarrasses her in this art gallery that was a big friend of hers, very close friend. So she was just like, "Look, you can't be doing like things like this to my friends." And he said, "You told me you were going to promote me. You said you were going to make me the vice president of sales." And she says, "Honey, baby, I got top salesmen that have been working with me for decades. I can't just throw my little boy toy boyfriend in, okay? And you run the company. That's not the way it works, gorgeous." But she wanted a boy toy, and it just got to the point that he couldn't sell out. He couldn't do it. Tom Cruise, Brian Flanagan, and he said that's it. It's over. One of these lines stood with me my whole life. Remember when she slapped him and she says, "Why can't we just make it nice, end this nice?" And Tom Cruise said, "Remember, Jen, things will only end if they end bad." Think about it. Like, if you want a relationship to end, you really can't end it peacefully and on a happy note. You got to end it on a horrific note. That's how something ends. And that stood with me my whole life. Then you're talking about people who lost money. Well, what's his name? The friend Doug met this really, really sexy rich woman, but she was like, that song by Rick James, Super Tramp, right? She was getting it on with all the guys. And while this was all happening, it's funny, he put all his money in the stock market and ultimately winded up losing it in margins, lost all the money. And he ultimately led to his suicide on his boat. He had this beautiful boat. Man, it was a very touching movie, and Tom Cruise then ran back to Elizabeth Shue, and he's begging for her to forgive him. And the father, like, remember, he wrote him a check. He said, "Just get out of my daughter's life." And remember, he took the check and he ripped it up, and he goes, "This is what I think of money." And he walked out. She was pregnant with his child too, by the way, which was even more devastating. She didn't want to see him. So anyway, I know I'm rambling on. It was a great, great movie. A great movie. One of the best. I'm going to go enjoy it now with my wife.